Welcome back to the Friar Talk podcast and YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be talking about Manny Machado because Manny, he deserves a full segment for himself right now. He has been absolutely raking. If you look at his numbers post All-Star break, he's hitting 352 with over 1,000 OPS. And in July, he could have won Player of the Month. It did go to Joey Votto, who had a tremendous month. Don't want to take anything away from him. But Manny had a slash line of 371, and then his OPS it ended up coming out to a 1.184. So he was balling. The big difference with Votto was Votto did have a few more home runs than him, but got to give Manny some credit because he has been pretty much carrying this offense of late. And we noticed it too. I mean, in a lot of these series that he doesn't like dominate in, it'll be like, oh, Manny went 2 for 11 or 2 for 10 or 2 for 12 or whatever it was, and then those two hits are both crucial RBI hits. And so it seems like he's coming up at very important times, and also his numbers are absolutely jumping off the page right now. So that's where I'm at with him. Chase, you want to get into Manny Machado a little bit and just how he's been playing?
Yeah, and we all know this, but even when Machado is kind of lacking with his bat in a game, he'll still win a game with his defense. Like, we've seen it multiple times that he saved the closer, he saved the starter, which is how he plays defense. It feels like anytime there's a ball hit to the left side of the infield, we're trying to get it and throw it to first on a line and always get the guy out. So it's just he's been playing out of his mind. I don't think he put it another way. Defense-wise, offensive-wise, he's practically the MVP of our team right now, and it's kind of hard to say for anyone else. Even when Tatis is fully healthy right now, it kind of feels like Machado might just beat him out for that honor like he did last year because of how well he's been playing.
Yeah, us Padre fans know how great Manny Machado is. We know how amazing he is on the field with his bat when he catches fire. The rest of the league needs to catch on to that and give him some respect finally, because he's been amazing, and he unfortunately gets overshadowed by the superstar Fernando Tatis, and that's how it would be on any team. Any other superstar would get overshadowed by him, unfortunately. But well, I guess you can say fortunately because he's our superstar. But if this was another 60-game season that ranged from the beginning of June to now, maybe other than Joey Votto, Manny Machado would probably be the MVP. Because, I mean, look at what he's done. I mean, I think he batted over 300 in June. He's batting like 342 in his past 30 games. He's been fantastic, and he's really, like Chase said, he's been carrying our offense, really. The glove has been – I think at one point he led all third baseman defensive runs saved, and that just shows to how he should be a Gold Glove winner absolutely this year, and he's putting himself in that MVP conversation. There's some guys that you can think of that are putting themselves in that MVP discussion right now. Maybe not to a crazy extent like Manny is. Bryce Harper, you can argue. Joey Votto is doing really well right now, so there's some guys that you can argue, but Manny Machado is our guy right now, and he's holding down the fort with Fernando out. So, much love for that guy, because I remember the first year we signed him, I was a little skeptical after that first year. I was like, oh man, he didn't have his best year, but it was the matter of his first year in a new city, first year on a new team, on a rebuilding team, and then the next year. And I remember when we were doing the podcast, we at the beginning of the year last year in the 60-game season, we were a little worried, maybe not to a crazy extent because we knew he'd bounce back, but it was a little scary. And then with a blink of an eye, he's third in MVP voting and one of the best players in the league, along with Fernando, has their top two in the WAR since 2020. So props to that guy, because he's been absolutely amazing for us Padre fans.
Yeah, and that's that's what happens to a lot of guys that come over from the AL into the NL. It takes a little bit to adjust to the new pitching. A lot of guys you've never seen before. And if you kind of look at Manny's career numbers early on, he was a mid 700 OPS guy. And then his numbers, progressively got better and better in Baltimore. And that's kind of what it seems like is happening in San Diego as well. But the numbers are just better than they were in Baltimore. I mean, this is his prime right now. Also, another thing that I think we should bring up is it's not like Manny was just bad early on and now he's just been really hot throughout the whole course of the season. Because I think this is the best stat to kind of describe how his year's been. With runners in scoring position, he's hitting 355 and has over an 1100 OPS. And you've seen clutch hit after clutch hit. And And I mean, that's been the whole year. And even early on, when he wasn't really able to drive the ball because he's been bothered by a shoulder injury somewhat. But we saw early on, like he even talked about like he couldn't get the pop in his bat. Like he was still driving the ball, and I think he still had like a 90, like over a 95 exit velocity, or 95 percentile exit velocity early on. But he wasn't able to get that lift that he normally does. He only has 21 home runs this year, and I think normally if he was playing this well, he could have 30 home runs right now if he had the full strength shoulder the whole year. But even though he hasn't had that full strength, he's still come up clutch time and time again. So, you really got to appreciate that, because it's not every guy's able to like be missing an element of his game for a while and then still being able to adjust. And then once that, he's fully healed, now he's just completely turned it on and he's playing completely lights out. So got to give props to Manny. I mean, he's really carrying this team, and with Fernando out, I mean, he's been the spark of the offense most nights. I mean, I know we've seen Austin Nola come out and look really good lately. And, there's been and Adam Frazier's, had some really good games. Also, Eric Hosmer's had some really good games. But the guy that's consistently doing it and doing it in pretty much, it seems like a big moment for Manny Machado happens every single night. So really, really impressive stuff from him. But anything else you guys want to add?
Yeah, he also just does more than just a bat in the glove. He's a great clubhouse presence. We saw him with kind of Snell, like, hey, you're pitching too slow. You need to pick it up for me. And Snell had probably his best outing of the year. And I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but hey, you know what? Manny Machado was there. He said something, and Snell happened to have his best outing. So credit to Manny Machado for that.
Yeah, you could all, I think we could all agree, and we could all say Fernando is the electricity. He's the heart and soul of this Padres team for sure. And I think we could all agree with that. But when you look at outside of that, Manny's probably the rock of this team in terms of how often he plays, the consistency he's brought. Whenever he's called upon, whether it's at the plate or on the field, always comes through. And I mean, you could put Jake in that conversation as well as one of the rocks of this team. But when I think of that guy, I think of Manny, just how consistent he's been all year, and how he's just showed up and shown, like, let's be real, he has a bunch of haters out there. He's kind of proving them all wrong right now. And that's such a good thing to see, especially those damn Dodger fans who always talk about how much he sucks and all that crap. Well, he's been better than Mookie ever since they signed him. So that's all I got to say about that.
All righty. Well, I think that's going to do it for today's segment. And we'll be back. I don't know. We're recording this a few days in advance, so we'll see kind of what happens. But we'll be having some daily Padres content moving forward. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll talk to you guys very soon.